Yeah, hi, I'm Amy, and I've lived on the Central Coast for 38 years, so born and bred. Actually down from the southern end of the Central Coast, though. I'm a McMaster's Beach member, so I'm very grateful for Monique to pick me and choose me to speak in front of this amazing crowd tonight. Poetry was really cool. I've never actually listened to a poetry thing before, so it was like, blew my mind. And the Indigenous ceremony was really cool. So I'm really grateful to be included into the northern community up here. I think as a Central Coast, we're all kind of one. Like we all sort of bond together, and when things are important to us, I feel like we get things done at the right time. I did bring a speech. I have to say I've done a lot of public speaking in my time, but I don't like to write speeches. So hands up if you want me to read it, or I can just wing it. I think I prefer to wing it. I run Central Coast Surf Academy. I was a professional surfer I qualified for the World Tour in 2001. So my background is I was a professional surfer and I was heavily involved in surfing, and that was my entire life. So the ocean to me is really important, and as I'm getting older, I'll sort of veer. I'm realising the importance on all different levels, whether it be an environmental perspective or bringing people that, heal from the ocean, and people that, suffer from anxiety and depression and those types of things that are drawn to the beauty of the ocean. And the Central Coast is beaches that are surrounded by amazing, spaces of beautiful white sand and golden beaches and a community that's really amazing. So I think, my job is really fortunate. I've been fortunate as a professional surfer. I was quite selfish through my entire 20s. My whole goal was to be a world champion. I didn't quite get there. I reached 5th in the world, so that was pretty cool. So I was selfish, but, the ocean was my solace. Like, it was my place that I went to. I was driven to get better and better as an athlete, and when I retired I had quite a bad back injury in 2010, so I'll fast forward from when I was 18 right through to when I was almost 30. I was fortunate enough to travel the world 40 times over. Maybe I went around the world. It was beautiful. Got to experience places like Hawaii, Tahiti, South Africa, America, Europe, everywhere you want to go. I went. So I did lead a very blessed life. I worked hard for it, and I wasn't sponsored for a lot of those years, so I made sure I got the results to sustain myself to compete at that level. And when I retired from professional surfing, I wasn't sure what I was going to do, so I went to university at Newcastle Central Coast Uni, and I set my surf school up at the same time. And I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I was sort of studying business at uni, and then I was also running my business, and lo and behold, people started coming. And I think because of my passion and love for the ocean, people sort of, I started creating all these connections to people on the Central Coast of all different walks of life. And, what started to appear to me as time went on was, I was fortunate enough to lucky to be able to work with certain people, and a lot of those people were people that, there was people that just loved, that want to surf, like the children and the women's groups and all those things. But there was also this side of the business that started to attract people that they had anxiety issues. The parents would call me up and then say, "Hey, I've got a 9-year-old that really suffers with anxiety or social skills." And all of a sudden, I'd meet this child. I go to the beach and I'm like, "Hi, I'm Amy," and those boundaries would be crossed. They weren't that child with anxiety. They were the person that was going surfing. So I think that's nothing to do with me. It's just, again, like the ocean just creates those... it eliminates boundaries. It's sort of like one of those things where we all become one, and it's a challenging environment. Like, you cannot expect to know what's going to happen, whether you're sort of surfing 10-foot, 15-foot sunset, or you're a new person and you haven't been to the ocean before and you catch a 2-foot shorey on the head, it will catch you off guard, and all of a sudden you have to be in the moment. And I think in life, and I've suffered from anxiety. Like, I was an elite athlete. I'm in that category where I'm a professional that they box us in and they say you just sort of you're a perfectionist and you want to do these things. So I can relate to those people. With my back injury, I did sustain quite heavily I think I was depressed. I surfed, and all of a sudden I couldn't surf for 2 years. So taking away the one thing that I loved before I had my wife and my son, that was a pretty big thing for me. So surfing, it's like one of those things where all of a sudden you're at one with the ocean. You have to be. So I think all of a sudden meeting these people that that have depression or that have anxiety or that have bipolar, I'd have extreme cases of these surfers. A parent would ring me up, or a 30-year-old male that, and they'd call and start, openly discussing these things with me about, how I'm going to take this person surfing. And all of a sudden I'd be like, whoa, I've got a responsibility to look after this person. And, looking after a person in an environment such as the ocean is really challenging, it can be like the entrance. You guys like McMaster's, you like Avoca, you like Copacabana. It's not a beach like Terry Lawyer Minor. You guys are professionals here. I used to compete at Nippers when I was younger, and all of a sudden, it's big and it's rough and you're a water person. At the end of the day, male, female, men, women, children. If you're brought up in an environment like this, you know how to read the ocean and you know how to look after people in the ocean. And I think that's what sort of starts to bring those people to you that want that expertise. There's lots of people in the world that, can be an instructor, but if you actually, it's in your blood and you know how to read those conditions, then you can take those people that maybe need a little bit of extra care in the water. So I've definitely been I'm fortunate enough that I've worked with schools from Sydney that, again, they don't surf. So I'll have a group of 30 kids that'll rock up from Blacktown and they have no idea. As coasties, I think most of us have access to the beach, and we sort of either in Nippers or we sort of we know the flags and we know these things, so we understand the importance of staying safe in the water. But my job now I'd say I'm a professional surf coach, and I also think I'm a bit of a mentor to my coaches. I've got a team of about 15 staff that work under me, and I want them to sort of, relay the importance of staying safe in the ocean and also enjoying the ocean and, crossing those boundaries into just finding the joy, being in the moment. I think that's really important for every one of us. Every single person in this room's probably got some sort of stress going on at some time in their life, whether it be individually or with their extended family or their immediate family. They've always got something. So, if you've got something as beautiful as what's out there now, and we can enjoy that and have people that can either help us enjoy it, there's not just me that runs a business around it, but I'm also very passionate about it, or people that that can take you surfing, then you're fortunate. We do live in a very, very wonderful place. And like I said before, as I've sort of, gotten a bit older and I've now got a son who's 2, Take 3 for the sea. I've been involved with them for a long time. I've known Amanda and Tim. I've known Tim for my friend and I did a charity for those guys over 10 years ago. And I think even now more so than ever, I do realise, if you guys go to your local coffee shop and they're not using, or you haven't got a keep cup and they're not using recyclable cups, then speak up. We've all got a voice, it's a big blue ocean and we really do want to keep it blue for as long as we can. And if we all don't play a part in that, I think, the evidence is there. We're going to start to see the decline, and I think, we'd be selfish if we didn't all start to play a part in that. So I won't ramble on for too long. I hope you'd enjoyed my speech and I wasn't too shaky. But my speech was all on stats. There's charities out there that, there's One Wave is all it takes. I'm involved with that. We do Fluoro Friday. We go surfing for people that have anxiety and depression. And if we can help one of those people, to me it's paramount. There's even veterans now that have come back from Iraq and places that have fought for us. There's proven studies, guys, that actually say that surfing for them on a regular basis, and if we can help those guys surf, they can come back with amputations and really trauma, memory issues. And if we can, there's proven stats that show that surfing is helping those people. So for me, the ocean isn't just surfing. It isn't just an ocean. It's a place that we have fun and we get to ride waves, and life's one big wave to me. And if I can help other people ride it, I'm all in. So thank you for your time, and I really appreciate being a part of coming up here to the North Entrance. It's been amazing. Thank you.
Thanks, Amee. That was fantastic.